What's going on, Facebook fam? It's your man, Dr. Will, and you guys know the deal. Let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. Even if you're watching the replay, let me know what city, what state, what country you're chiming in from. I'm here in my office on the beautiful island of St. Martin on this Friday morning. So wherever you are in the world, as you are coming in, let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. This morning, I want to talk to you guys about the power of personal development, and talk to you about a new group coaching program that we're offering right now that's starting in January, but you can sign up now. We have a Black Friday special going on. And that's what I want to talk a little bit about. So when we talk about personal development, guys, why personal development is so important. What's going on, Mary? Why personal development is so important? Because it literally is the catalyst that transforms your life. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you know I'm all about transformation. I'm all about getting unstuck from who you think you are and becoming the best version of yourself. And as I've been able to travel the world for the last 20 years, sharing this story about how I went from a gangbanger to a world changer, how I literally went from a gangbanger to a world changer, how I literally went from hanging on the streets to getting invited to speak at the White House, being hired by companies like GE, Microsoft, a whole lot of Fortune 500 companies. How did that happen? It happened because of personal development. It happened because of transformation. And I like to use the word transformation versus change, because if you change, you can change back. But like the caterpillar to the butterfly, once you're transformed, you don't go back. Like, I'm never going back to gang banging, right? I'm never going back to gang banging. You understand that? So once I transformed into the person you see today, I'm not going back to the person that I was. And so personal development for me over the last 25 years has been what has been able to allow me to go from level to level to level to level to level. It's me always working on me. Not me trying to change the external, but me changing the internal. And the more I change the internal, the more the external changes, regardless of who gets elected or who doesn't get elected, regardless of if I'm living in Germany, if I'm living in the United States, if I'm living in St. Martin. It does not matter, because I figured out what makes the biggest impact in my life. And what makes the biggest impact in my life is transformation and personal growth. And that transformation starts off with me committing to personal growth. And so for those of you that follow me, you guys know that I have my 10 before 10, these 10 things that I do every single morning that allow me to continue to evolve. And last night, as I was doing some more personal work, I took a test that I take literally every year, and I took this. It's a DISC test, DISC. It's called the DISC test, and it begins to let you know your foundation, right? What's your makeup? You know how people say, that's just the way I am. That's just the way I am. And a lot of times, what's going on, Cousin Frank? A lot of times when people say that, they're saying that in many ways as an excuse of why they have not developed, why they have not grown, or why they're acting a certain way in a certain situation. People will say, that's just the way I am. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Love me like I am. But here's the thing. we all are wired a certain way. We all are wired a certain way. But just because we're wired that way doesn't mean we have to stay that way. Just because we're wired that way doesn't mean we have to stay that way. That's our foundation, but that doesn't mean we can't add on to the house. That doesn't mean that we can't improve the house. That doesn't mean that you can't add a fence, right? That doesn't mean that you can't add a second story. That doesn't mean that you can't expand, add a bedroom, add an extra skill. Right? So just because the house started out as a one-story house doesn't mean it has to stay that way. And when I realized this, it was 25 years ago that I realized I wasn't stuck. I thought for so long that I was stuck. And I would say things like, well, what do you expect? You know, I was raised by a single mother. What do you expect? My father wasn't in my life. What do you expect? I'm from Compton, California. What do you expect? I'm a gangbanger. What do you expect? And so I thought I was stuck until I began to get into personal development. And one of the first books that I read was As a Man Thinketh. As a man thinketh, so is he. And I realized that, wait a minute, that through my thinking, I could transform my existence. Through my thinking, I could transform my situation. And so that's what I began to do 25 years ago. And so starting next year, when you join us for our group coaching program, starting next year, I've identified 4 areas that we need to master in our lives. And I call them the 4 pillars of mastery. I call them the 4 pillars of mastery. And all throughout next year, we're going to go through the 4 pillars. And let me just give them to you real quick. The first pillar is self-mastery. You got to learn how to master self. That's personal growth. That's personal development. Self-mastery. The second pillar is time mastery. Time is the most important commodity that we have. It's the most important asset that you have. Time. Mistakenly, most people think it's money. And so people say things like, you know, time is money, but time is not equal to money. Time is not equal to money. You can get more money. You can't get more time. So time is not equal to money. Money has its place, but time, you know, you ask anybody on their deathbed, the richest person on their deathbed, if you would have asked Steve Jobs, who was at the time, I believe when he died, worth $56 billion. Steve, how many of your billions of dollars would you give up to get more time? I'm sure he probably would have gave up all of his billions because he realized if he had more time, he can get more billions. But if you don't have more time, then game is over. And so the second thing you want to learn is master your time. The third thing that you want to learn how to master is your relationships. Your relationships. Many of us are derailed in life. If you see the biggest impacts on our life, whether they're good or bad, whether they're positive or negative, it's the relationships that we develop. It's the relationships that we get in. So if you haven't learned how to master relationships, how to cultivate relationships, you know, in America, I know the statistics for divorce is 50%. 1 out of every 2 people that get married, they get a divorce. And it's because they haven't learned how to master relationships. Inside of relationships, there's components of communication. There's components of compatibility, right? And if you haven't learned how to master these things, then you're always going to be in toxic relationships. You're always going to be in relationships that aren't happy. And so in that segment, we're going to work on relationships. How do you better your relationships? And then pillar number 4 is money. Money is important. Money has its place. Money is what makes the world go round. So you need to learn how to master your money. You need to learn how to earn money. You need to learn how to keep money. You need to learn how to grow money. You need to learn how to give money, right? And then you need to learn how to transfer money to your legacy, to your offspring. And so that's what we're going to be doing in this group coaching that I'm heading for 2021. So if that sounds interesting to you, go over to drwillspeaks.com/group coaching. drwillspeaks.com group coaching. If somebody can type that in, that would be awesome. drwillspeaks.com/group coaching. And we're going to hang out for a whole year, and I'm going to teach you personally. I'm going to show you the tools that I use, the tools that I've created for my clients that help us dominate. All right. Now, let's get back to this personal development. So last night I took an assessment test, right? You can see this. This says November the 27th, 2020. November the 27th, 2020. That was last night. I took this. Well, hold on. Today is the 27th. So early this morning at about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock this morning, I was taking this assessment test, right? And I take it every year because I want to measure my growth. I want to measure my growth. And so I picked up one of my other tests that I took, the same test, the same assessment. I took this one July 31st, 2018. July 31st, 2018. And what I want to show you guys, and I want to show you the power of personal development. So in 2018, I want to, and this is probably not going to make sense to you right now, but when you join the coaching, it'll make sense to you. But in 2018, this is my results. These were my results, right? My D, my I, my S, my C. And I want to show you something. So in 2018, this was my results. In 2020, these are my results. Now, I want to point out something very important. Okay? Here it is. I want you to look at this one right here. The C. I want you to look at the C. And I want you to see how important personal development is. Okay? Let me just give you the factors of the C, okay? So when you take this assessment, it breaks it down for you. But I want you to see this real quick. Let me give you the factors of the C. The factors of the C. If a person has a high C, this means this person is a perfectionist. It means they're systematic. It means they're analytical, and it means that they're orderly, right? It means that they're systematic. It means that they're analytical, and they are orderly. These are your accountants. These are your lawyers, people like that. These are your engineers, right? So I want you to see this. I want you to see, this is my C. I scored very low in the C. And so for the last 2 years, I've been working on it, right? And I want you to see my C now. I want you to see my C in 2018, and I want you to see my C in 2020. See how high that C is? Now, why is this important? Let me tell you why this is important. Why is this important? Why is Dr. Will sharing this with you? Here's why this is important. In 2016, I was having a conversation with myself, and I was doing self-assessment. And self-assessment is the ability to do exactly what it says, to examine yourself, to look at yourself, look at your results. So in 2016, I was looking at my results. And aesthetically, my results were phenomenal. Right? In 2015, I got named one of the top speakers in America. In 2016, our company was named the top diversity company in Arizona. Just a whole lot of awards and things like that. But I didn't feel as though I was making as great of impact that I could have. Even though I was winning awards, even though I was recognized as one of the top speakers in the country, through self-assessment, I realized that, Will, you can be more and you can do more. Like, even winning those awards, I was still kind of like coasting. I was kind of coasting, right? I figured out the speaking. I figured it out. I knew how to get hired as a speaker. I knew how to command, a decent amount of money in speaking, but I wasn't quite making the impact that I wanted to make. And so I started to self-assess. And when I started to self-assess and I started taking these assessment, what I realized was that the reason why I wasn't making the impact that I wanted was not because I wasn't good. Everybody recognized that I was pretty good at what I did. That's why I was winning awards. But I realized as a company and as an individual, I was lacking in implementing the systems. How can I explain this? I was doing well, but I was expanding I was using a lot of energy to do well, if that makes sense. I was doing well, but I was using a lot of energy to do well. And so when I started inquiring about this through coaching, and when I hired a coach and he asked me, he says, okay, what do you want me to help you with? I said, I'm not making the impact that I want to make. I'm not making the impact that I want to make. When we began to self-assess, he began to let me know, man, it's your systems. It's your systems. And sure enough, once again, when we took the assessment, that's what the assessment showed me. That my C was very low. With systems, with order, it was very low. It was very low. And so for the last 2 years, I had started to work on that. And literally, back in 2016, I started to work on it. And in 2018, when I took that assessment, it was still in that low area. And so I took that assessment in July. In October of 2018, I said, okay, Will, you need to really dial it in. You really need to go to the next level. By this time, I had been named one of the top personal development coaches in the world, but it was still off of right? Just out there, beast mode. But when I would talk to my coach about the life and the quality of life that I really wanted, it wasn't matching up. I had a good quality, but it wasn't it wasn't being produced the way I wanted it to be produced, if that makes sense. I was getting it done, but it wasn't the way I wanted it to get done. And so in August of 2018, I said, okay, Will, you gotta dial it in. And so when I started to dial it in and really started working on that area of systems and that area of order, boom, everything started taking off, guys. Everything started taking off. When I would write in my journal what I wanted to do. I wanted to wake up every morning, look at a beautiful view, be at the water. That's what I wanted. When I started focusing in this area, and this takes me all the way back to where I started, you're not stuck, right? You have a framework of who you are. You have a framework of how you operate, but that doesn't mean that you're stuck. A lot of times when we take these assessments, and we say, oh, okay, it says this is who I am, so that's who I have to be. What I learned was that just lets you know where you're starting off. The goal is that you learn how to operate in all of them. The goal is that you learn how to operate efficiently in all of them. So let me give you another area. Let me show you my D. Let me show you the D. And then I'm going to read to you what the D is. Let me read to you what the D is. The D is driving. The D is forceful. The D is competitive. Now, this is going to be surprising to a lot of people. Watch this. Look at my D score. My D score is very low because I'm not really a demanding person. If you know me, I'm not really a demanding person. I'm not a person that pushes, right? I'm not that type of person. If you hang out with me, if you're talking to me, I will share information with you. But if you don't seem that you're receptive to that information, I don't push you. Hey, that's your life, right? So I'm not very driving and demanding, and I'm not very competitive. When I would play, cards, spades, or anything like that, I'm competitive. If you play me in Monopoly or Scrabble, I'm pretty competitive in that. But overall, I'm not a real competitive person. Do I like to win? Yes, I like to win. But, I'm not going to be distraught if I lose. But what I realized in that D area, there's certain areas in my life that I do need to be driving, that I do need to be forceful, right? So in raising my C score, I got very determined. I got very driven in raising my C score in terms of being systematic. I got really forceful and determined in that area that I was going to create systems that helped me win. So now this year, I'm working on the D to bring the D, right? To get the D more even. Because if you see it, everything starting to even out. Look, if you look at my I, my S, and my C, everything from here is starting to now even out. And I'm on this trajectory, I'm calling it personally my road to 50. Like my road to 50. Now, from 0 to where I am right now, 45, I've accomplished a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of stuff. But I'm telling you guys personally, you guys haven't seen nothing yet. Because now I got the systems in place. I got my S, which is, let me just tell you what the S is. The S are people that are predictable, they're stable, they're consistent. If you look at me over the years, you can tell Dr. Will, he's stable, he's consistent, right? He's pretty even keel. The I person is persuasive, they're inspiring, they're enthusiastic, they're social. If you look at my test, that's where I am, right? I'm that constant social person. If you look at both of them, I'm the I and the S. I'm the constant social person. I had to bring up my C, get the systems. Now I'm about to bring up that D. Guys, when I bring up this D, right? When I bring up this D from the standpoint, there's some things that I want to accomplish, and I'm about to be very driven and determined about that. Over the next 5 years, as I embark on this road to 50, I'm 44, but in January, I'll be 45. As I embark on this road to 50, I'm about to be determined like I've never been determined before. I'm about to be focused like I've never been focused before. I got the other, I got them now. I'm the social boy, right? I'm the consistent guy. Dr. Will, if you come to my page every day, I'm going to show up. If you look at my page for 10 years, right? He's been a constant source, right? Watch this, of inspiration, right? And enthusiasm. If you check me out for the last decade, if you followed me on Facebook for the last decade, that's what you can say about Dr. Will. He's been motivating. He's been inspiring. He's been consistent. I come here, come to his page. That's what we're going to see. That's what we're going to find. But now that I got the systems, right? Because my goal is to impact, influence, and inspire the world. That's my goal, to impact, influence, and inspire the world. That's my goal. And so over the next 5 years, I'm telling you, if you've been following me and you thought like, it's about to be bananas, and this is what I'm on. So this is why, if you've worked with me before, even those that are working with me now, they're about to see a shift, right? Even for them, they're about to see a shift, because before I wasn't very driving. I wasn't very demanding, even in my coaching. I'm not very demanding. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. Either you do it or you don't. That was how I was. But now, because I realize what COVID-19 has shown me is I can't allow the people who work with me to be blase and to be content. Because what COVID-19 has showed us, that life can be turned upside down just like that. Life can be turned upside down just like that. Life can be turned upside down just like that, and you don't have time to play. And so now, whereas before, my coaching was, man, here, I'm going to give you the information. I'm going to tell you, here's the recipe. But I would leave it to you if you wanted to go cook it. I'm not about to leave it to you to go cook it. So that's why you want to be a part of this coaching program. I'm telling you, go to drwillspeaks.com and sign up right now. drwillspeaks.com/group coaching. Because if you're ready to go to the next level, I'm telling you, your boy got it. I'm not, listen. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm not trying to be conceited. I'm telling you, when I tell you, like, if you've been following me for any amount of time, you haven't seen nothing. And when I look, I was already the most awarded speaker of the last decade. I was named the #1 speaker in Arizona. I was named the top 30 speaker in the United States. I was named one of the top 10 personal development coaches in the United States, right? I've been on magazines. I've been all types of awards. You guys haven't seen nothing. You guys haven't seen nothing. You thought that last 10-year run was something? When I say dominate the decade, and I'm so glad that I'm doing this video, because I hope that it pops up, right, as a Facebook memory in 5 or 10 years, so we can come back and reference it when I tell you guys, man, if you're not on board, get on board. I'm telling you. So this group coaching that we're going to be doing, this is the level that it's going to be at. This is the level and the intensity. This is the level and the intensity that it's going to be at, because you have a mark to make in this world. You have a mark to make in this world. And for those of you that are connected to me, I'm the individual to help you make that mark. I realize that. It wasn't always that I realized that. I took even for me, I didn't value my role. Let me say that. I didn't value my role in other people's lives as it related to, I'm the catalyst, right? When you think about Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they needed a Phil Jackson to put them in the system. I'm Phil Jackson. I'm about to put you in the system that's going to take you from just winning scoring championships to winning championships. See, when Michael connected with Phil, that's when he won championships. When Kobe connected with Phil, that's when Kobe won championships. Michael didn't win any championships. Kobe didn't win any championships without Phil. And Phil is the one that put them in the system. They already had the talent. They already had the drive. Listen to this. Michael Jordan was already scoring the most points. He was already winning the scoring championship. He was already winning the dunk contest, but he wasn't winning championships. It wasn't until Phil put him in the system, the triangle offense, that Michael began to flourish as it relates to championships. That's when Kobe began to flourish. Right? And so before, I didn't realize, this is me. I'm having a transparent moment with you guys about my personal growth. I didn't realize how vital I was for people who connect with me. Now, I'm not for everybody. I'm just for the people who connect with me. But for the people who connect with me, I'm that power surge. For the people who connect with me. I'm not for everybody, but for the people who connect with me, I'm that power surge. I'm that boom. I'm about to give you that boost. Does this make sense? And so listen, LaDonna, I know you already signed up. Man, I'm super excited because you're already doing amazing work, but we're about to take what you're doing. LaDonna, to the next level, right? Mary, you already won. You're already connected and you already won the number one female speaker in Europe. But that's just scratching the surface, guys. That's just scratching the surface. Mary, you already doing, right? You're already Michael Jordan. You're already doing it. But now what we about to do going forward, when we talk about dominate the decade, it's about to be ridiculous. And this is what I love about this. Will, man, how can you tell everybody that they're going to dominate the decade? That's what makes this so magical. There's so much abundance in this world that me dominating the decade can't stop you from dominating the decade, right? Me dominating the decade is not going to stop LaDonna from dominating the decade. That's what makes this so magical. Patrick, I'm telling you, go to drwillspeaks.com/group coaching and get on, man. I'm telling you, get on, lock your place in. This is what makes this so phenomenal. This is what makes me so excited, because this is the true essence of abundance. It's like, I always tell people, it's like if we all went to the beach right now, you getting in the water is not going to stop me from getting in the water, right? There's enough water for you to swim in the water. There's enough water for me to swim in the water. Halana, I'm telling you, you in Rwanda and you about to dominate. Like, this is why I'm so excited, guys. This is like Halana is in Rwanda, and we about to set this thing up. We about to blast. Ponder, I'm telling you, Nebraska, I'm telling you, you got to get plugged in. Because, guys, if you've been following me for 10 years, you've seen what we've accomplished, right? You've seen, I just moved to St. Martin. I got a house. I got a residence in Phoenix. I got a residence here in St. Martin. In the last 2 years, because I dialed in, right, got the systems in place, I'd always said I wanted to do this. I wanted to live in 2 different places. I always said I wanted to do this. I couldn't do it until I got the systems in place. Right? To be able to live in 2 different countries, your systems got to be right. You can't just live in 2 different places if your systems ain't right. I'm not talking about, this is not a meme. I actually live on an island. This is not filtered. I actually live on an island, guys. Everybody out there talking about laptop life and all that type of stuff. No. I actually live on an island. I actually live in 2 different countries. I got residencies in 2 different countries. You can't do this if you don't have systems in place. Your family won't function well. Your businesses won't function well. In the midst of a pandemic, because of the systems we have in place, our company was able to flourish in the midst of a pandemic. Where is it? It's all the way over there. Listen, our company is still signing major contracts in the midst of a pandemic. I just signed a contract. It's over there. I just signed a contract, right? A huge contract to train, right? This company's all of their, they have offices all throughout the United States. They just hired me to train all of their offices in the midst of a pandemic, guys. How am I able to do? Because the systems that we put in place. And so drwillspeaks.com/group coaching. You want to be a part of this energy. It's not just Dr. Will, it's the Marys that live in Holland. It's the Halanas that live in Rwanda. Like, it's people all around this world that are going to be a part of this group, right? That are going to be a part of this group, guys. All around the world. You have people in Kuwait, like literally. So you're going to be a part of a group that have already connected. And when I say transform the world collectively, when I say we're about to transform the world, I'm not playing. Like, that's what I'm determined to do. To teach each of you how to elevate your game. Like, you remember back in 92, the Dream Team? You remember back in 92, the Dream Team? If you're not familiar with the the U.S. Dream Team, when they brought all the best NBA players together and they learned how to play in unison, that's what we're about to learn how to do. We're about to learn how to play in unison because we're going to have such a mind. We're going to have such a we mindset. Not I, not me, but such a we mindset that us working together, all of us bringing our talents together, Michael Jordan, the high flyer, Larry Bird, the one that knows how to shoot, Magic Johnson, the one that knows how to pass, right? Karl Malone, the one that knows how to post up, John that knows how to, John Stockton, that knows how to control the ball, control the tempo. When they brought all of them together, they were blowing out people. Listen. I just told you I was doing this assessment at 2 o'clock in the morning, and here I am back. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm fired up. Like, I went to sleep at 3, and I was back up at 5 because I'm fired up. So, guys, drwillspeaks.com group coaching. You got to sign up. If you're ready, listen. If you're not ready to do the work, then don't sign up. Honestly, if you're okay with being average and you're just okay with getting along to get along, then don't sign up. This is not for you. This is not for you. When I tell you that I put together the framework now, that has taken my life to the next level. I put together the framework that now when I'm working with my clients, how to even take them to the next level. It's about to be bananas, guys. drwillspeaks.com group coaching. That's all I'm going to say. All right, guys, go out there and have an amazing Friday, and I'll catch up with you guys later.